Did you know that long before the Bible as we know it was compiled, there was another book? A book that told a very different story? This was a tale of angels, of forbidden knowledge, and a world that was far from what we imagine today. This was the Book of Enoch. Once it was a text widely read and respected by early Christian and Jewish communities. But over the centuries, something shifted. It was gradually pushed aside, labeled as controversial, and eventually banned and nearly forgotten by mainstream religion. But what if its removal wasn't just a simple historical accident? What if it was deliberate? This ancient text describes celestial beings, the Watchers, who were cast out of the heavens. It speaks of them sharing knowledge that humanity was never meant to possess secrets of the cosmos, the arts of war and enchantments that forever changed our destiny. It paints a picture of human history that is drastically different from anything we've been taught in Sunday school or history class. Join us as we journey back in time to explore the banned Book of Enoch. We'll investigate the stories within its pages, the reasons for its suppression, and why many today believe it holds the key to humanity's true, hidden history. This isn't just a story about an old book. It's a story about our own origins. The Book of Enoch is one of the most enigmatic and debated texts to have survived from the ancient world. And while we often refer to it as a single book, it's actually a collection of writings. There are 3 distinct versions that carry this name: 1st Enoch, 2nd Enoch, and 3rd Enoch. Each one offers a unique perspective and adds another layer to this fascinating puzzle. 1st Enoch, also known as the Ethiopic Enoch, is the most famous and complete version. It's a collection of 5 distinct books, believed to have been written by different authors over several centuries. Starting from around 300 BC, this is the version that contains the most detailed accounts of the fallen angels, their giant offspring known as the Nephilim, and Enoch's incredible journeys through the heavens. It was held in high regard by many early Jewish sects and is even quoted in the New Testament's Epistle of Jude, which shows just how influential it once was. Then there's 2nd Enoch, or the Slavonic Enoch. This text survives only in an old Slavonic translation and focuses more on Enoch's personal transformation. It details his 365-year lifespan before being taken up to the heavens by God, where he is transformed into the archangel Metatron. This version is more mystical and offers a profound look at cosmology and the nature of creation from Enoch's unique point of view. Finally, 3rd Enoch, or the Hebrew Enoch, is a much later text, likely from the 5th or 6th century AD. It's written from the perspective of Rabbi Ishmael, a prominent sage, who describes his own ascent to heaven and his encounter with the glorified Enoch. Now the angel Metatron. This text delves deep into Jewish mystical traditions, known as Merkabah mysticism, focusing on the celestial throne and the angelic hierarchy. So, when we talk about the Book of Enoch, we're really talking about a rich and complex literary tradition. But why was this tradition, especially the influential 1st Enoch, excluded from the biblical canon? The councils that met in the 4th century, like the Council of Laodicea, began drawing firm lines about which texts were considered divinely inspired and which were not. The Book of Enoch, with its elaborate angelology, its detailed descriptions of fallen angels procreating with human women, and its apocalyptic visions, was seen as problematic. Its stories were perhaps too wild, too detailed, and they didn't neatly fit the theological narrative that was being solidified by the early church fathers. They raised uncomfortable questions about the nature of evil, free will, and the neat distinction between the divine and the human. The story of the Watchers, for instance, placed the origin of sin not just with Adam and Eve, but with rebellious celestial beings. This was a direct challenge to the doctrine of original sin that was becoming central to Christian theology. And so, the book was suppressed. It was declared apocryphal, meaning its divine authorship was doubted, and it was systematically excluded from the collection of texts that would become the Holy Bible. For over 1,000 years, the Book of Enoch was lost to the Western world, preserved only by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, which has always included it in its official biblical canon. It was until the late 18th century that a Scottish explorer named James Bruce brought copies of the Ethiopic text back to Europe. Its rediscovery sent shockwaves through the scholarly and theological communities. Here was a text, quoted by New Testament writers, that had been hidden for centuries. Its re-emergence forced a revaluation of early Jewish and Christian thought. What if the stories in Enoch aren't just myths, but allegorical accounts of real events? The forbidden knowledge given by the Watchers' metallurgy cosmetics, astronomy corresponds with major leaps in human civilization. Could the angels have been advanced beings who interfered with our development? This theory suggests that the story of the Watchers is a preserved memory of a profound intervention in our ancient past, an event so significant that it was recorded as a divine transgression. The text also describes Enoch being taken on a tour of the heavens, where he sees the storehouses of the winds, the cornerstones of the earth, and the workings of the sun and moon. To a modern reader, these descriptions sound remarkably like an aerial or even orbital perspective of our planet and its systems. Could Enoch have been describing a journey into space, explained in the only terms his ancient vocabulary would allow? These ideas are, of course, highly speculative, but they tap into a deep-seated feeling that there est more to our history than we've been told. The removal of the Book of Enoch from the mainstream canon created a vacuum, a missing piece of the puzzle of our origins. By examining its strange and beautiful passages, we are not just uncovering an ancient text. We are questioning the very foundations of our history and our place in the universe. Whether you see it as divine revelation, ancient mythology, or a coded account of our past, the Book of Enoch challenges us to look beyond the accepted narrative and to wonder what other truths might still be hidden. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most mysterious books. What are your thoughts on the Book of Enoch? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. We'll see you in the next one.